Hello, this is Victor at RestoreYourMercedes.com. This video is for Kevin in Texas. Okay, Kevin, so here is your throttle body, and it cleaned off very nicely actually. So as you can see, this is the top, this is the underside. I cleaned up a little bit on the surface, mating surface where gasket goes, but other than that, it's nice. I do see some sort of markings over here. I don't know what these are about. Was it original to the vehicle or not? I cannot make up what it says. Yeah, just kind of like something scratched on it. And just a note, it was produced in second month of 1993. That we can tell by the case, because sticker is damaged at this area. So that's the only kind of a marker that is giving us some sort of an idea when it was made. At least the case was made then. The motor seems to be made in 19th. This is 19th week, 19th week of 1993. Okay, that's what it usually, how Mercedes usually marks it. Well, this is not even Mercedes unit. This is VDO. Okay, so what I want to show you right now is the unit is energized. As you can see, it holds its position, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually make it go into limp, and I want to show you the values that computer sees. You see, these are the values from potentiometers. This potentiometer right here. So to get it going to limp mode, I'm going to physically force the motor. There it goes. Okay, as you can see, I forced the motor, but yeah, I won't be able to show you right now. For a second, let me see. Reactivate the unit. Computer went off into limp as well. So let's try to do it again. Actually, I'll have to do it a little bit different. I'm gonna do it a little bit differently. I'll remove the gear, so this way I can show you the exact readings, what potentiometer is telling us. So let me pause this video for a second. That way computer will not go into limp. At least we can see the sweep. Okay, so we continue the recording, and right now I have gear loose, so I will be able to move the gear out, remove it, and then we can see the readings on the potentiometer. Right now, potentiometer readings is good. This is the idle as we know it. This is average readings from pretty much all the units that I test. The potentiometer values, I'm talking about voltages. So right now we're going to remove the gear, and what's going to happen is it's going to try to correct the plate positioning to become the where it has to be, because right now, as you can see, it holds the plate, the motor holds the plate in certain position. I cannot move the plate. This is the plate right here. Clutch coil connects gears together. So this is our clutch, coil is behind, so it connects this gear to the potentiometer, to the inner gear in there. So right now it's going to be disconnected while I pull the gear. The motor will try to correct itself though. As you can see, if I remove the gear, the motor is trying to correct the positioning of the actual plate, because now, as you can see, we're 0.2 volts off on both readings. So the motor tries to get it to be in that position. So now what we can try to do, we can try to affect it. See, I can move the actual gear, and I can get it to become, the motor can pretty much stop almost. As you can see, it's an extremely fine line with this potentiometer, so it's very sensitive stuff. So as you can imagine, any discrepancy right now would have triggered a limp, but I can barely get it to that particular location. That tells us that the idle circuit is pretty good. It's very accurate. There it goes. Okay. The the motor is stopped. So this is ideal positioning, as you can see, 4.37, 4.39. This is ideal positioning for idle, and if I let go, the motor spins one way or the other. So the idling area of potentiometer is really good. So next thing we're going to try to do right now is we're going to try to move the potentiometer. Actually, okay, I should try to move it with the plate. First off, I'm moving first potentiometer R1. As you can see, I'm moving the throttle position. So we got motor is trying to adjust to where it needs to have the main potentiometer. But as you can see, I'm moving the plate and readings do change just well. This is wide open throttle, 0.49, and if I slowly turn it back, you see voltages also changes. Right now, motor stopped because computer sensed that there is something wrong, because the reading on second potentiometer does not change, so therefore it went into limp mode. So right now we can actually move a second potentiometer and show the readings of potentiometer R2. So I can open it up, as you can see, manually, and there we have our readings on R2 changing as well. Because the plate opens with it, obviously we will have change of readings on potentiometer R1. So, and micro switch safety contact S1 has moved also to off position because it's built into the potentiometer. So as you can see, readings show up very nicely, pretty close to each other. That's pretty nice. It's a spring-loaded gear, so it's kind of difficult for me to move it, obviously, with one hand making the video and moving the gear. But let me try to go wide open throttle. This is not wide open throttle, but close, as close as I can get it. But we can see the readings are working. I mean, I have no problems here with potentiometer, and that's also a good sign. Here's a micro switch back. We have our readings to go back to baseline, and now put the gear back on. I'm going to reset this throttle. We're going to get our readings to go to 4.37 to 4.39. So let's do that. Now communication has to be reestablished, but as you can see, the throttle twitched, and now it is holding the plate where it wants it to be. So I have no problems with it. As you can see, readings went back up to where they were originally, and that's basically going to we're going to pretty much cut it off. Everything is good, and the unit will be ready to mail now. In terms of the heat, the clutch coil had been energized for actually a long period of time, since yesterday evening until today's 9 a.m. like 9:15 or so, and I had it running. I shut it down to assemble the connector, so it was just re-energized. That was a good kind of test, just to give it a little bit of a break from many hours of operation. But it's been on and it's been really hot, so that's the best test I can do on the clutch coil right now. Because this is a non-ASR unit, it's extremely difficult. The clutch coil is all the way inside that housing there, and all the gears and all of this stuff has to come out, and very finicky potentiometer. It's a job and a half. So thank God that the coil is good. To me, the way I see it, it is good. So usually if the coil is faulty, see, if the coil is faulty, it would shut off when it gets hot. It just becomes open circuit. So as you can see, if I try to close the throttle, the motor tries to bring it back to proper opening, proper angle, so you have enough air for idle speed, and so forth, so on. Now this also works as your cruise control actuator, idle speed correction and cruise control actuator. So this is what this unit does. ASR units are a little different because non-ASR unit plate opens mechanically, so every time you open your throttle the plate will open. Now the difference there is that it will still be electronically controlled on idle because there's different loads and all this good stuff. Well, anyway, that's a lot of theory, but long story short, this unit is operational and it's ready to go. Wires were really bad actually. There was so many short, I mean, insulation was just gone. Second you start touching them, it was just flake right off, all the way to the connector actually. Whole length of wiring was bad. Sometimes you only see worse parts here, better parts here. At the connector they're decent, not in this case. From beginning to the end everything was crumbled, so all insulation was gone. So hopefully that will cure your idle problem, but you totally did not do any disservice of doing this throttle because the wires were really bad. And hopefully your control module has not failed because of these shorts. Okay, so I guess I'll wrap this up right now and get it ready for mail. And this is basically all. This is Victor at RestoreYourMercedes.com. Thank you for watching.